All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we have our July 2025 account update. Again, for those of you new to the channel or new to this series, every month we kind of take a look at the account, talk about what we've done, where we're heading, the farming progress, just kind of give you an overview. And again, this is a really important kind of series, even though it's not the most exciting. It is really important because I think it gives you perspective as to how much an account is growing. A lot of times when you're watching somebody play this game, if you don't know where they started, if you can't go back and figure out what they've done over that period of time, it can be really challenging to see them be like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But you go back 2-3 years and you can see that their account has grown and that they have been, practicing what they preach. And that's a big part of what I try to do. So with that said, folks, let's get this under wraps here. Let's give a shout to our channel members for their continued support. If you guys are ever interested, y'all know where that link is. It's down below, along with a link to our Discord server. Go check it out. Really just appreciate all you folks keeping the faith, believing in me through good, bad, thick, thin, whatever the case is. You guys are awesome, and you make creating content for this game so much more fun, and I can't thank you all enough for your continued love and support. So let's get in here and let's talk about some Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
My name is
All right, of course it's saying start game. Why would it ever, come on now. There we go. All right, so let's start with the first just kind of update on Shards. So we are 73 of 100 on our Temple Guard here. Again, this is coming completely from the era battles. We have not farmed any Shards yet, so getting closer to 7-star there. On our Quiggold, where, did that for the Marquee. And then Depa, we are 37 of 85, so still a long way to go with Depa. But again, we did get a lot of help with Temple Guard, and he was the first character. So, I did get a lot more Shards there. So we'll have to eventually start speed running Depa once we get to that point. That will be a big kind of push. Again, these two characters are not yet farmable. And then, of course, we've got our Scorch, who I have been farming. We are 61 of 100, so 39 Shards to go to get him to 7-star. We have been making some really good progress. I am doing up to the 50 refresh, so we're doing 15 total attempts on his node every single day, getting some good drops. And that's kind of where I cut it off for a hard node, is that, 25 crystal refresh, 50 crystal refresh. I've talked about this before, but at that point, you've spent 75 crystals. If you can get at least one shard through that, you're still saving yourself some crystals comparative to your shipment price, which is 80 crystals per shard. And you can do well more than that with those refreshes. So I do kind of offset it there. Going to the 100 to me, just at that point, I'm like, all right, I don't need it that much. But I don't mind spending the 25 and the 50s for him. Otherwise, we don't have any other shards. We are in the middle of the Kicks Marquee event. I am going to get him to 5-star by the end of that. It's something I'm going to try and do for myself just to see if I can get closer to these characters, particularly as we're getting closer to Pirate King Hondo. I want to make sure that I am moving through that as best as I can. I've got our favorites on Mace Windu and Maz Kanata. Even if we can't farm them yet, we still want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind, particularly when it comes to gear. We also did, getting into a little bit of the relics here, so we're going to switch over to our squads. So we did not do any new relics yet this month in terms of updates from, relic level A to B, but we did do a couple of new relics. We've obviously got our Disguised Clone Trooper at relic 9, and he is modded. I actually just recently changed his mods to an offense set, and that was to kind of slow him down so I could get the turn order right. So now I've got CX2 at 343 speed. I've got our Oppo here at 341, and then we have Disguised Clone Trooper at 339 speed. So that way we kind of get the turn order right there. Pretty pleased with the mods on them, if I'm honest. They've got, did a lot of work to make sure that they are where they are. And then I did take Scorch. You guys can see it here. Let me get my webcam to hide for a sec. He is at relic 4, 6-star. Got him modded pretty well, if I'm honest. I'm pretty excited to finally get this guy to 7-star so he can get all the, get to relic 9, all the extra protection and things. So it does feel really nice to have this team. I did, am using this now in 5v5 with that update. So I feel really good here. Again, really just waiting until I can get that final push into Scorch at relic 9, and then obviously, we'll have a full Relic 9 team for the raid and be able to score a lot more points. The other things we did this month, again, I did take Etano here to Relic 3 at 5-star. I have been using him in the raid a little bit and have had some success with that. So we do have some mods on him. Nothing fantastic, but at least decent enough. He's doing pretty well. We'll be excited to see how this character continues to evolve through, as we get additional stars on him. Our Smee, we did take to Relic 5. By the way, that sound is so sick. So we did take Smee to Relic 5. He is modded. Not a lot of speed on this character. Only 95 extra speed, but I did put a good bit of extra offense % on him. So feeling pretty solid, at least for now, until we find kind of that permanent home for him and get that perfect team. We have our Quiggled at gear 12, and we have Kicks at gear 12. No crazy modding on them yet. Nothing out of the ordinary for an account of this size in terms of mods just laying around. Their mods will come a lot later in the process once we get to that point where I feel I can, get those relics on, which I'm hoping will be soon. But again, I want to kind of make sure that I'm not going too crazy, because while those guys could be really good for the raid, I've got to keep my eye on the final prize of getting Jedi Master Mace Windu, which entails getting both Temple Guard and Depa Billaba up to Relic 7, and then Mace as well. So there's a lot of signal data still to be spent, a lot of resources still to be used that I'm not quite prepared to give to Quiggled and Kicks yet. And that is something that has come up quite a bit, is the, Zetas. I've got 123 of them, which is enough, actually, if you kind of look here. So that's enough to put one on Temple Guard. It's enough to put both of Depa's. And then if you remember, Mace Windu is also a 3 Zeta character. So I have enough just to finish out my Jedi Vanguard, and then we've got to kind of start all over. So again, by the time we get Mace, we should have enough Zetas to do some other things, but it is something that I am trying to keep my eye on and ensure that we're not going overboard with some of these things, because Zetas are obviously a big deal. Even Egnards has kind of said the same thing. Now, he's equipped some really bad ones, but even he's kind of noticing that crunch a little bit, and I can tell you, for those of us in the end game, that is a scary crunch, because you know how long it takes for Zetas to recuperate, and for many of you, with regard to whether it was light speed bundles or just the advanced rate, the advanced pacing of this game, your conquest units, it can be really challenging to keep up with Zetas. So we did talk a little bit about mods, though. I did want to kind of just transition into some mods here. We are continuing to get better in regards to the speed. So I think my last 300 speed character is Scorch. He is 300 speed. And Treya is too. So I think the first one that isn't is Sana at 299. I really should just slice this mod up just so I can have another 300 plus speed character. But hey, so we do have a lot of 300 speed characters. And the one character that I actually finally got to remod after getting Disguised Clone Trooper was Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. I was finally able to put just straight protection and speed on him, which that was kind of a long time coming. I'd wanted to do that for a while, so I feel good that I was able to finally get that kind of under wraps. But it does feel, I will say, it does feel really nice to have the amount of characters we have over 300 speed and the quality continuing to get better. It is actually kind of a problem at times where I've been unlocking some mods and I really don't know who to put them on, because the speeds or the offense or the defense, whatever it is, isn't quite up to par of where I'd want. And so I like to, humble brag a little bit, but it does feel pretty good to be in the situation I am with my mods. It's something that, again, I'm working really hard towards, especially with the current economy with them, where it is so challenging to keep up with how many mods you need in regard to the various game modes. That every time a new character comes out, you're like, I don't know that I can rip these mods off of that character. So just something that I'm continuing to look at and be like, yeah, I really have to be careful here. Again, modding, just, it's close to my heart. It's very challenging to admit that they need to, I shouldn't say it's challenging to admit. It is a big problem that they need to somewhat fix. I just don't know how they're going to do it and keep the balance between endgame and, lower to, the mods. finally, guys, where I think we're going to head. Finally, after everything we do for Honda, right? We're going to get Mace. We're going to go right into Honda. That's pretty simple. But what about after that? What else are we going to do? What other things do we kind of need to check off of our list? And there's one thing that I have been waiting to do for a long time. And now that we finally have our last dark side clone, we can do this. This has been a long time coming. I have wanted to Relic 9 Lord Vader for the longest time. And I want to do it live on video with you guys because if you've been following the channel at all, you know I love Lord Vader. This has been a character who I've defended for a very long time. And with these clones, he feels so good. And it's time we Relic 9 him. 1, because it's a full Relic 9 team for territory battles. And 2, because I friggin' want to. I do have the resources to be able to do this. I'm not going to pretend I don't. We've got the resources. I've been saving for this. It is something that I want to do. So even though he's not directly related to the raid, this team, the Dark Side Clones, it's going to be a valuable team, and I want to make sure I give this guy the love that he deserves. So without further ado, Relic 9 on Lord Vader. There we go. Another Galactic Legend finished. Another Galactic Legend done. And for some of you, you might have picked up that I had said we hadn't done anything new yet because I wanted to make sure we get this guy to Relic 9. So we're going to end our video with that. Official stats here. We are 213,000 protection and 11,700 physical offense. So feel pretty good there. Really excited just to see where this account continues to go. And I can finally take Lord Vader off of favorites and get on to the next project. So again, guys, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.